Sure, shall I start?
Let's wait for a few more minutes.
Okay, sir. Is it audible, sir?
Yes, ma'am, it is audible.
Okay, sir.
The
Yes,
faculty
ma'am.
count reaches 8, 9, will proceed, ma'am.
Is it my screens shared, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am, we can.
Yeah, mom, yes,
Yeah.
good.
Shall I start, sir?
Yes, ma'am, you can start, ma'am.
Yeah, very good morning to everybody. First of all, I would like to thank our management for giving me this opportunity. On behalf of our department and HOD, I welcome you all. Before enter into the topic, I just want to introduce myself. I am Raj Kumari, live in Chennai. I was completed my UG in the year 2005 in Periyar Manima Engineering College, Tanjavur. And then I was completed my PG ME Structural Engineering in the year 2011 in Katpagam University, Coimbatore. In the same year, that is in 2011, I was joined in Velamal Engineering College, and I was worked there for 1 year. Due to my maternity, I was relieved from there, and then I took a break for 1 year. So after that break, I was joined in JPR group of institutions, and I was worked there for 6 years. And then I was worked 2 years in Fabmat Industrial System. Now I am with you all. Now I am here. Okay, this is my introduction about myself. Then during that curriculum, I was published a paper in National Journal, one single paper, and then I was published a paper in one international conference and three national conferences. This is the introduction about me. Uh, Now I am starting the topic. My today's topic is self-healing concrete or bacterial concrete. Okay, so before I start this topic, I just want to give some rough idea about concrete, because you people are from various discipline. If you know the basic things only, you can understand this better in a you can understand this particular topic in a better manner. Okay, so first of all, what is concrete? A concrete is a structural material. It is a hard structural material which is the mixture of aggregates and cement with water. Okay, so cement and aggregate. When we are saying aggregate, the aggregates are sand and gravel. Okay, usually the aggregates are fine aggregate and coarse aggregate. In fine aggregate, usually we are using sand. For coarse aggregate, we are adding gravel. That is, we are locally saying Jalli. Okay, so these these ingredients are mixed together, then we can get the concrete. Okay, so each one of this ingredient is having the specific functions. Okay, so we need to know that functions, why how that ingredients are playing in that concrete. Okay, so first, the coarse aggregate. The coarse aggregate is nothing but the jelly. Otherwise, it is a gravel. Why we are saying this as a coarse aggregate means the aggregates which is having more than the size of 4.6 mm. Okay. So if the aggregates, if the particle size is lesser than 4.6 mm, mean that is not coarse aggregate. That will be a fine aggregate. Okay. So the aggregate which is having more than 4.6 mm size, that is coarse aggregate. So usually we are using granite stones. Okay. So this the function of this coarse aggregate is giving the entire mass to the concrete. Okay. The entire mass is achieved by the coarse aggregate only. Okay. So next is fine aggregate. What does fine aggregate means? So fine aggregate is the aggregate particle sizes lesser than 4.6 mm are fine aggregate. Okay. Usually we are using sand. Sand is a very good fine aggregate material in concrete. Okay, so the function of the fine aggregate is to fill the gaps in between the coarse aggregate. Okay, if we fill the coarse aggregate means there will be a voids, there will be a holes in between the particles. Okay, in order to arrest, in order to fill that gaps, we need some finer material than the coarse aggregate. So we are using sand as a filler material. Okay, so here the coarse aggregate is a base material which is giving the entire mass, and the fine aggregate, the function of the fine aggregate is to fill the gaps in between the coarse aggregate. Okay, and then the main ingredient is cement. What is the function of the cement is the cement is the binding agent. Okay, so the proper bond in between the concrete, the proper bond will be developed by the cement only. Okay, so here the cement is a binding agent. So when the cement giving the binding, when it will bind means when it will react with the water. Okay, so the fourth major ingredient of concrete is water. Okay, when we are adding concrete, when we are adding water into the concrete, the cement starts to hydrate. Hydration is nothing but the chemical reaction which is taken in between the particles. Okay, so this hydration process will take place only by adding the water. Okay, so the water is also a major ingredient in concrete. So these four are the major ingredients of concrete and the functions of each ingredient. Okay, next is when we are saying these when we are mixing these four ingredients alone, we can say that as a concrete. When we can say concrete, it refers the plain cement concrete. Okay, so without having any reinforcement, without having any other than any material, only the material contains only these four ingredients is called plain cement concrete. Okay, so the this plain cement concrete has very good compressive strength. Okay, so we can crush the concrete, we can compress the concrete, but we cannot pull the concrete easily. Okay, we can crush the concrete or we can break the concrete very easily, but we cannot pull or we cannot tensile the concrete even a 2 or 3 percentage. Okay, so the concrete is very good, the concrete has very good compressive strength, but the tensile strength of the concrete is very less. Okay, but in a structure we need both the strength, compressive strength as well as tensile strength. So in order to increase the tensile strength of the concrete, we are introducing the steel into that. Okay, so the steel is in the form of steel rods. Okay, when we are introducing the steel into the plain cement concrete, then the concrete will become a reinforced cement concrete. We are giving a reinforcement in the form of steel rod in order to increase the tensile strength. So the concrete will become a reinforced cement concrete when it is introduced with, when it is added with the steel rods. Okay, so this is the steel reinforcement, this is the steel rod, and this is this is how the concrete is placed over the steel rods. Okay, next is this is the reinforcement details, how the bars are steel bars are binded before laying the concrete and placing into the element. Okay, this is for beam and this one is for slab. Okay, then next is the Next is the admixture. What is that admixture? So we have seen the ingredients of concrete are aggregate, cement, and water. Okay, if we are adding anything, any material, maybe it may be in the liquid form or it may be in the powder form. So other than these four main ingredients, four major ingredients, if you are adding anything extra means, additionally means, that is called admixtures. Okay, so admixture is a very important element, unavoidable element, because in all the circumstances we cannot apply either PCC or RCC, plain cement concrete or reinforced cement concrete. We need some special categories of concrete. Okay, see some in some places. We are building bridges, or we are building a bridges over the coastal areas, over the seas, over the oceans, or we are planning very high rise buildings. Okay, so in that places we cannot have the normal strength. The PCC and RCC give the very normal strength only. We cannot get more strength. So in that places we need some more materials to improve the property, to improve the character of concrete. So that we are adding admixtures into the concrete. Okay, so admixtures are any material other than the major ingredients of concrete, that is called admixture. So why we are adding admixture into the concrete? In order to increase the durability of concrete, lifetime of the concrete, strength of the concrete. So for these reasons we are adding the admixture into the concrete. Okay, so these are some of the admixtures. These admixtures are in the powder form. So that is fly ash. Fly ash is nothing but the ash which is derived from the coal. Okay, when we are burning the coal, we can get the fly ash. Like the ground GGBS. GGBS is nothing but ground granulated blast furnace slag. This is derived from the steel. After when we are doing the steel process, some waste are produced means, that is called GGBS. Okay, next is RHA. That is nothing but rice husk ash. Rice hash ash come ash. This is derived from the burning of some ash, burning of rice husk. No, so that is called rice husk ash. Okay, next is silica fume, next metakaolin, and these are all the types of certain types of admixtures. Okay, normally used admixture. Next is types of concrete. So as we seen earlier, the ordinary concrete or plain concrete is the concrete which is having only the major elements, that is cement, aggregate, water. Only the concrete which is having this material alone means, that is called ordinary concrete. Then when we are introducing reinforcement, steel reinforcement into that, then the concrete is called as reinforced cement concrete. Okay, like that we are having varieties of concrete, so many varieties of concrete. Those are pre-stressed concrete, precast concrete. Precast concrete is nothing but priorly built up elements. Okay, priorly built up elements like ready-made walls, ready-made beams, ready-made roofs, everything we can get as a ready-made. Okay, like you can see the ready-made compound walls. Okay, so that is ready-made concrete compound walls. We can get it from the market and we can fix it. Like that, ready-made elements are available. Ready-made elements available means, that is called precast concrete. Lightweight concrete is nothing but if we are using lightweight materials by replacing the normal aggregates, normal fine and coarse aggregates with the lightweight material mean, that is called lightweight concrete. Okay, like that the types of concretes are various types of concretes are there. In that, one of the type of concrete is self-healing concrete. Okay, so before that, one of the major element in concrete is crack. Okay, what is that crack? Crack is nothing but a incomplete division of concrete surface. Okay, how the crack will be on concrete surface? It will divide the surface. It will divide the surface into two or more parts. Okay, so that incomplete separation of concrete or masonry surface is called crack. Okay, so what are the reasons of crack? Why the cracks are forming means, due to various reasons like shrinkage. Shrinkage is nothing but moisture. Okay, due to the moisture content, the shrinkage crack occurs due to the change in moisture of crack. If the concrete absorbs any moisture, it will expand. If it dry, if the moisture is dry, means it will shrink. Okay, so due to this reason the crack will form in, that is called shrinkage crack. Like that, due to the temperature change, like every concrete structure is having direct contact with the atmospheric temperature only. Okay, when the rain comes, or when hot climate is there, so the rain and all the weather condition are exposed on the concrete surface. Due to that changes in weather condition, if the cracks are forming, means that is temperature changes. Due to the temperature changes, the crack will form. Okay, due to some like that, due to some chemical reaction, due to poor workmanship, due to error in design and detailing is nothing but the reinforcement, binding the reinforcement, that is called detailing. Okay, so due to that, then due to the construction overload, due to the elastic deformation and corrosion of concrete. So these are some of the reasons of cracks, why the concrete surface is getting cracked. Okay, so these cracks are very dangerous, because these cracks will entirely damages the structure. Why means, if any cracks formed on the concrete surface, it will exposed with the water and air content which is present in the atmosphere. Okay, if the air or if any water get enter into the crack, means it will deteriorate the concrete surface. Okay, if the water goes inside the crack, what will happen? The concrete surface will get deteriorated. At the same time, if the water will reach till the reinforcement, if the water touches the reinforcement which is inside the concrete, means the if the steel reinforcement is getting the water, it will start to corrode. Okay, so if the reinforcement corrode, means the entire element, the entire structural element will get damaged, it will get collapsed. Okay, if any cracks happen on the column, or any particular any even in a single column, or even in a single beam, if the reinforcement corrode, means the entire element will get collapsed. Okay, so that because of that, the entire structure will also get damaged. Okay, so these cracks are very dangerous, so it will be cured by the time when it is formed. Okay, so some of the olden methods, older techniques in order to repair the cracks, or that is epoxy injections. Epoxy injection is epoxy is a material, that is, it is a special resin based material. Okay, it is like a resin, so it is injected on the crack surface. Okay, so this is one of the older method. And another method is routing and sealing. In routing and sealing method, the V cut groove is cut along the crack, and it is sealed with a fresh concrete. Okay, that is routing and sealing. Then another two methods are stitching and drilling method. In stitching method, the steel rods are again inserted into the place where the cracks are formed, and it is finally it is sealed with the cement paste or any special paste. Okay, then drilling and plugging, here also the holes are drilled, the small holes are drilled along the cracks where it is cracked. Okay, so through that holes, the grouting material, the material, that concrete material with dry or wet condition, based on the environment, it is injected through a grout. Okay, so this is called drilling and plugging method. So these are the olden techniques, these are the existing techniques which are used to repair the cracks on the structures. Okay, but though we are having varieties of methods in order to repair the cracks, these methods, by doing these methods, are very difficult in case of huge structures like bridges, dams, or high-rise buildings. So in that places, going and doing these methods, the stitching method or drilling method or any epoxy injection method, so doing these methods is very difficult. Okay, so what researchers thought is, without doing these techniques, without following these techniques, how the cracks, how can we close the cracks, how can we seal the cracks. So they found a solution that is called self-healing concrete or bacterial concrete or biological concrete. All are same only. Okay, what is self-healing concrete? Here, the concrete itself heals the cracks. Okay, here the crack is healed by the concrete itself. Okay, how it is possible? How the cracks are cured by the concrete itself means by inducing bacteria. Here we are adding the bacteria into the concrete, so that bacteria will going to repair the crack when it is formed. At the time of forming the crack itself, that bacteria will repair the cracks. Okay, so how it is possible means, by adding the we are adding the bacteria with some nutritions. Okay, nutritions is in the form of calcium lactate or and nitrogen and phosphorus, which are the elements needed to live that bacteria into the concrete. Okay, so we are adding the bacteria as well as the nutrients in the concrete. Then that bacteria will take care of sealing the cracks when the cracks will form. Okay, so due to the self healing concrete, we can increase the service period of the concrete. In normal concrete, in normal plain cement concrete or RCC concrete, we can have the lifetime of concrete up to 100 years. Okay, in normal concrete structure, the lifetime of the concrete structure is 100 years, but in self healing concrete we can make the lifetime of the concrete almost double, around 200 years. We can extend the life of the self healing concrete up to 200 years. Okay, so how we are achieving the self healing means by the two components. Okay, by two healing agents we are adding into that. One is bacteria and another one is the nutrients, that is in the precursor compound. Okay, that precursor is nothing but the nutrients, which are the minerals which is needed to activate that bacteria. Okay, so this self-healing concrete is a specially made concrete in order to increase the lifespan of the concrete, as well as the as well as to cure the as well as to repair the concrete. Okay, and to increase the durability of the concrete structure by the self-healing action of the concrete. Okay, then this concrete is first developed by the researcher called Henk Jonker during the 17th century. Later 17th century itself, he found this self-healing concrete. Okay, so if any cracking of the concrete occurs, that unreacted cement grains may become exposed to moisture and penetrating the crack. In that case, the hydration process may start again, and hydration process may fill and heal the cracks. Okay, so this bacterial concrete or the self-healing concrete agent, it is believed to remain hibernated within the concrete for up to 200 years. When the cracks appear in the concrete structure and water start to percolate into that, the spores of the bacteria starts microbial activities on contact with the water and oxygen. Okay, due to this action, the precipitating calcite crystals are forming. This precipitation will be converted into a soluble calcium carbonate. Okay, insoluble calcium carbonate. That calcium carbonate is nothing but the limestone. Okay, limestone, when the calcium carbonate is getting dried, it will seal the crack. Okay, so the special thing present in the bioconcrete or self-healing concrete are, one is the bacteria. That is a special type of bacteria, not ordinary bacteria. It is a special category of bacteria, which it has to, because the bacteria has to resist the alkalinity inside the concrete. Okay, so it has to resist the alkalinity and the entire stress of the concrete also. Okay, then the other major element is chemical precursor. What is that chemical precursor? Chemical precursor is nothing but the minerals or the nutrients which is needed to activate that bacteria. Okay, That is nothing but calcium lactate, the major chemical precursor, the major mineral needed to activate the bacteria is calcium lactate, as well as phosphorus and nitrogen. Okay, so these things are filled in the filled these these ingredients are combined, and it is formed as a pellets. Okay, and these pellets are going to added with the concrete. Okay, or sometimes it may be in the form of capsules. Okay, these bacteria and these nutrients are all are filled in the capsule form. Okay, next, how this bacteria and the nutrients are mixed with the concrete. So this is a very normal procedure how the plain cement concrete is mixed. Okay, how we are mixing the plain cement concrete means, first we are adding the fine and coarse aggregate, then the cement is added into that, and finally the water is mixed. Here, before adding the water, that is after after adding the aggregates and the cement, we are adding the these capsules or these pellets. The pellets or capsules is nothing but the combination of bacteria as well as the nutrients. Okay, so these are added into that before adding the water, and finally we can add the water and get the self-healing concrete. Okay, so while mixing this self-healing concrete, we should take care about the bacteria and cement are not directly mixed. Okay, so once the cement is added with the aggregates thoroughly, then only we should add the pellets. Okay, otherwise the bacteria will start to react with the cement, so the entire step will get collapsed. So whenever we are preparing the self healing concrete, that bacteria should not be mixed directly with the cement. Okay, so bacteria in the sense, what kind of bacteria are used in self healing concrete? So here normally the normally used bacteria are bacillus type of bacteria and pseudomonas family of bacteria. Okay, so that bacillus and pseudomonas family of bacteria are in the form of Coccini, Arfilla, and Pasteuria. So these are the commonly used bacteria in self-healing concrete. Okay, and the chemical precursor, as I said earlier, the chemical precursor, that is nothing but the mineral or the nutrients for the bacteria is calcium lactate. Okay, so these are the pictures of each bacteria, that is Coccini and Pasteuria, then Species and Subtiles. These are the commonly used bacteria in self-healing concrete. Okay, next is the chemical reaction, how the bacteria is activated into that concrete. Okay, so the activated precursor induces the bacteria to react with the nutrients is in the form of calcium carbonate, that is nothing but the limestone. So this is the chemical reaction. So that CaC3Hs O2 is nothing but the calcium lactate, which is nothing but the precursor. Okay, then when it is reacted with the circumstance environment oxygen, then this both will be reacted, and it is converted as a calcium carbonate, that is CaCO3. This calcium carbonate is nothing but the limestone. Okay, so this limestone, when the bacteria is activated with the water or oxygen or carbon dioxide, it will produce the calcium carbonate. That calcium carbonate, when it is producing the calcium carbonate, it will be in the form of liquid. So once it is formed the calcium carbonate, it will be solidified. Okay, so when it is solidified, it will become a limestone, and it will dried. Okay, and it will close the surface. Okay, so this bioconcrete, in this bioconcrete, if the water is in the contact with the concrete through the cracks, then the bacteria get activated from its in the stage of dormancy. So till the water comes, okay, till the water get enter into the concrete, the bacteria will be in the stage of dormancy without doing anything. Okay, it will not be doing anything till the water comes inside the concrete through the cracks. Okay, once the water get into the crack, that bacteria will start to activate, and it will doing some metabolic activities, and it forms the calcite, which is further it is converted as a calcium carbonate. Okay, so this is the bacteria which is having the calcium precipitation after it is activation. Okay, so after it is activated, the calcium precipitate will be formed like this. Okay, next is how it is working. How the self-healing concrete is working. The self-healing concrete, it is a biological one. So it produces a limestone. Due to this limestone, the cracks will be healed. So the chemical reaction will be like this. So specially some special types of bacteria, that is bacillus or pseudomonas bacteria, along with the calcium based nutrient known as calcium lactate and nitrogen and phosphorus are added to the ingredients of the concrete when it is being mixed. Okay, so again, in future also, this is not the single stage curing method. In future, how many times the crack will appear? Okay, whenever the crack will appear, that time or all the time the bacteria will doing the same thing only. So it is a lifetime action. So not only the single stage. Okay, so next is this is also the same reaction only. So this is the detailed how the chemical reaction will take place in between the bacteria and the nutrients. Okay, first the lactate, calcium lactate will reacted with the when it is reacted with the water. So first the reaction will take place like this. Finally it will converted as a calcium carbonate, that is nothing but the limestone. So this limestone only is going to heal heal the concrete or seal up the concrete. Okay, so this is how the precipitation formed between the sand particles. Okay, this is the calcite, that is limestone is in the form of gel, and here the cracks are sealed like this. Okay, so before healing the cracks will be like this, and after healing the limestone precipitation is formed like this. Okay, due to this limestone precipitation, when it is dried, the cracks will be closed. Okay, this is the picture which is seen in a telescope. Then how this precursor and how the bacteria are applied on the concrete means, by two methods we can apply the agents. One is direct application method. Direct application method is nothing but that bacteria and chemical precursor are directly added into the concrete. Okay, without any form of capsules or without any form of pellets. But next method is encapsulation method. So encapsulation method is nothing but this bacteria and precursor are filled in a capsule like pellets, and this pellets is mixed with the concrete. Okay, this is the picture how the bacteria are activated inside the concrete. So these are this is also the picture which is showing the bacteria which is activated inside the concrete. Okay, so finally we are when we are testing the self-healing concrete. So this is the structure how the self-healing concrete is tested. So this is what the strength comparison of normal concrete, that is the plain cement concrete and biological concrete. So for the same grade of concrete, for example, M20 grade of concrete means the compressive strength of PCC is 28.8 megapascal, but we can get the strength up to 32.74 megapascal in case of bio concrete. Okay, in case of self-healing concrete. In case of M40 grade means In normal concrete, we can get the strength up to 52.01% megapascal, but in biological concrete, we can get up to 61.04 megapascal. Like that, the tensile strength and as well as the flexural strength is also increased, is also improved in case of self-healing concrete. Okay, this is the comparison of strength between normal and self-healing concrete. So let me see the advantages of biological concrete. So as we see, this biological concrete is fill the cracks once it is formed. Okay, not only not it is not only a single stage, single time it will not do the process. It will do the process till the entire life of the concrete. Okay, so up to 200 years. So when it will start the process once the crack is formed. Okay, so like that we can fill all the cracks in the concrete surface. Next is we can improve the compressive strength of the concrete. If we go for a PCC, plain cement concrete, means we can get the compressive strength only as we seen in this picture. We can get the compressive strength only up to 28.8 megapascal. But when we are going with the self healing concrete, we can get the compressive strength up to 32.74. So like that, the strength, we can increase the compressive strength of the concrete. Okay, next we can improve the resistance of freeze and thaw attack. Okay, in case of PCC, plain cement concrete, if any freeze and thaw attack means it will start to crush, it will start to deteriorate. But in case of self-healing concrete, we can improve that resistance due to that freeze and thaw. Okay, next we can improve the we can reduce the permeability of concrete. Permeability is nothing but the pores, that is the voids availability in the concrete. Okay, so in here the bacteria itself seal the cracks. Due to that, the voids can be reduced in the concrete. So further entering the water is can be controlled. Okay, next is the corrosion of reinforced concrete is also be reduced. That is, whenever the crack is taken place, that time itself the cracks are closed. Okay, the voids are closed. So due to that, no water or no atmospheric air is going to enter into the concrete. So that the reinforcement inside the concrete will not be corroded. Okay, next is we can reduce the maintenance works. In normal concrete, in conventional concrete, we can give routine supervision. We can monitor frequently whenever the where the cracks takes place. Like that, we have to monitor frequently. But in case of self-healing concrete, we don't do like that, because the cracks are arrested by the concrete itself. We don't need any maintenance work, or we don't need any repair work, so that we can reduce the manpower, we can reduce the time, we can save the time. So these are the advantages of this self-healing concrete. Okay, next this self-healing concrete is having some disadvantages also. What are that means? The cost of this self-healing concrete is almost double than the conventional concrete. Okay, because of using that bacteria and that nutrients needed to that bacteria, so that the cost will be increased. Okay, next disadvantage is this growth of any bacteria. In any bacteria growth is not advisable one. That is also a disadvantage. Next, the mixed design of this particular concrete is not available in any code, even in British code or Indian code. Universally, no codes are having the proper mixed design of the self healing concrete. Okay, so these are some of the disadvantages. Then along with that, skilled labors only required. Only the researchers who is having the biological ideas. Okay, those labors only we can adopt in self-healing concrete. So these are the disadvantages. Next, the applications where the self-healing concrete can be applied. Okay, so it can be applied road surfaces, or any river bank, any embankments, any embankments, that is embankments which is having loose sands, then low cost housing. So wherever in all the places we can adopt this self healing concrete. Okay, especially that is this self healing concrete can be adopted in highway bridges or tunnel structures, concrete floors, marine structures. So these kind of structures we can apply the self healing concrete. So yeah, this is the, since this is a new technology, yeah, it can be provided durable roads. So whenever if we are constructing a road, that road will be damaged very short. Okay, but in case if we are using self healing concrete, the durability of that road will be increased. Okay, that then a high strength building with more bearing capacity, that is nothing but the high rise buildings, we can adopt this self healing concrete. Next, long lasting river banks and river embankments which is having loose, and also we can apply this self healing concrete. Okay, so these are some of the applications in picture. That is in cement mortar, even in mortar, not in the not alone for concrete, it can be applied in a mortar for plastering the surface in case of dam like structures or bridge like structures. And in the, it can be used in precast concrete also. And it is a since it is a crack filling material, it can be used in a brick production and pervious concretes. If we are producing pervious concrete, we can use this self healing concrete. Okay, finally, it is a very good technique which is remediating the cracks and fissures in concrete surfaces. So it is done by microbiological action, that is calcium carbonate. We are due to this action, that bacteria will form the calcium carbonate in normal concrete. So it is a pollution free and natural material one. So these are the highlights of this self healing concrete. Okay, finally, this microbiological concrete is a very proved to be better than many conventional technologies because of this eco-friendly nature and self-healing abilities, and increase its durability of various building materials and give them high strength for more bearing capacity and increase the life of the building. Okay, so that's all. So any doubts in that?